For me, it's about the law and people. How am I supposed to quantify the value of these things when I don't have evidence?
I'm sorry.
And how people can resolve their problems and just be better for it.
Justice with passion.
I always knew I was going to go into law because I tried to see everybody's point of view in an argument. You say one thing, she says another. So who am I to believe?
Justice with truth.
Either you make the decision or I make the decision. You won't like mine.
This is Justice for All with Judge Cristina Perez. Carl Dolan is suing Sydney Maxwell in the amount of $1,000. Mr. Dolan claims his daughter bailed on an important family gathering and says he had already purchased non-refundable airfare for her entire family.
Mr. Dolan, I understand you are here today with the difficult task of suing your daughter for $1,000. Explain to me what happened and why you are here suing your daughter.
Well, I'm seeking $1,000 in compensation for a breach of contract. I provided the airfare for her and her family, 4 plane tickets to Mexico to attend a family reunion and also to celebrate the vows of her older sister, Sarah, for 10 years of marriage.
Could Sydney and her husband afford to travel to Mexico?
Not on their own.
Not on their own?
Yeah.
So you agreed to pay what exactly?
The airfare.
The airfare?
For both her and her husband and her 2 children.
Where did the agreement arise that your daughter had to pay you back or $1,000? You said that was a contract. Explain to me the terms of that contract.
It was a verbal contract.
Okay, no problem, but tell me exactly what you two agreed on.
Well, we text messaged with each other about her availability and my desire to help her make this occasion a family occasion because we're often apart. And in return, she was very gracious in how appreciative she was and that her husband would be very excited. And they needed a vacation because they've been going through a lot of difficulties lately the past year.
So you made a verbal agreement that you would pay for the airfare, all the airfare for 4 people, if she reimbursed you $1,000.
That's right.
Okay. Does that sound right, Ms. Maxwell?
I would not say it's an agreement. He was gracious in offering to provide the airfare for me and my family and requested that I pay $1,000 for that, but it was not an agreement. Also, he didn't even give me time to talk this over with my husband. I never said yes in the text message that he's referring to. He never consulted me after. We never had a follow-up conversation or went through anything of like, yes, I'm going on the trip. Let's book the tickets together. He just went out and booked the tickets without me even knowing and then texted me after the fact.
I have a copy of the text message that your father submitted. So your father says, I'd like to offer you to buy the tickets and for you and your family, and all you need to do is pitch in $1,000. That would be wildly generous. The whole family needs a vacation. After the year we've had, let's catch up in a few days. Did you call your father back in a few days?
I let him know after he booked the tickets.
When did he book the tickets?
Right after this text message, and he sent me the confirmation for the tickets that were booked.
So immediately after the text message?
Immediately after.
Okay.
And I picked up the phone and I called him and I let him know that I didn't appreciate that. I did not say, yes, I'm agreeing to go on this trip, or yes, that I can even afford the $1,000.
You didn't appreciate him buying you the tickets?
It's a great gesture, but $1,000 is a lot of money.
Okay.
And we've had a rough year. My husband just got into an accident. There's medical bills. We lost our home. He can't really work right now, so we moved in with his parents, my in-laws, who were so gracious enough to offer up their home, help pay for groceries, take care of the kids, be there to drop him off at physical therapy. It's a lot of money, even $1,000 just for the airfare.
I get it. So what did you do? You told your father immediately, Dad, I did not agree to do this.
Yes.
So, Mr. Dolan, did you consider that she had not accepted yet or formally accepted, or the moment you bought the tickets, which was right after this, that she said, no, Dad, I don't want to go?
No. They were unrefundable tickets, and they were for a very specific weekend that she knew the date of, and we were going to fly in on a Friday and fly back
I
home.
understand, but even with non-refundable tickets, you still get credit where you can use it in the airline. So why didn't you call the airline right away after she completely
Because he was
said no?
forcing me to go even after I said no.
I'm asking your father a question, Miss Maxwell.
I
Please do
apologize.
not interrupt me. It's getting a little bit bothersome.
She did not tell me she wasn't going to go that day.
Coming up on Justice for All.
So you guys are a close family?
We are not particularly close recently after my wife passed away.
And later,
Jessica then informed me about 9 months into our lease that her and Craig were looking for another place to live.
if you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching Justice for All with Judge Cristina Perez. We're back with the case of Carl Dolan, who is suing his daughter, Sydney Maxwell, for breach of contract.
What day did she tell you she's not going to go? Because she claims that on that day when she sent that text, you sent her, emailed her the confirmation, and she called you and said, no, Dad, I'm not going.
That came a day later.
Okay, a day later, when she said, I'm not going, you still had time to call the airline. Did you call the airline?
It was fairly short notice. The event was going to be in 2 weeks.
Did you think your daughter was going to be able to go after the year she said she's had, where her husband got injured at work, they weren't working, they had to move into the in-laws? Did you think your daughter could reasonably afford $1,000 plus hotel plus expenses?
That was their business.
Okay, all right, I understand. Is your daughter the type of person that would normally want to go on family events like this? Are you guys a close family?
We are not particularly close recently after my wife passed away.
So did your mother pass away suddenly?
Yes.
There was an illness for a while.
Huh?
There was.
That they didn't tell us about.
Okay,
so
your
for
wife
me
passed
it was suddenly, even
So
though
your-
he knew.
How did that affect the family, Sydney?
I think we had problems before Mom passed away, but definitely when she passed, he just became even more distant, and a lot of these family events
You
and
became
holidays,
more distant.
a lot of the holidays just started to we all did our own things. Thankfully, I'm married, and so I spend all my holidays with Jack and his family.
What about your dad? Who spends the holidays with him?
My sister, because they're close. They have a closer relationship. And he's never accepted me prior to my mom passing since I was younger, because
That's
I
not
chose
true.
to get married and have a baby young. And he wanted me to go to school and be a dancer. And he had this perfect little path lined up for me, and I chose something different. And he's never been able to accept that. And so he blames me for everything. And then when Mom passed away, you just really wanted nothing to do with me. You never come visit the kids.
That's not true.
That is true.
That's pretty harsh. You're saying you have a tough year. What about your father?
Yeah.
It sounds like you have absolutely no empathy for him.
I do, and I think his offer was very gracious.
No, you don't. By the way you're speaking to him right now, it's all about me. It's all about Sydney. All about Sydney. He's never liked me. He's this, he's that. He doesn't do this, he doesn't
It's
do
hard
that.
to have
he doesn't
empathy
do that.
when I was younger and I got pregnant, he disowned me and kicked me out,
All right, okay.
and then I was supposed to fend for myself.
All right, okay. So then why bother having a relationship with your father then? I mean, why even bother if you're going to treat each other like a piece of garbage? I mean, why even bother?
I don't think
because
there's a
the
point.
disdain that you have for your father in your voice is palpable. Palpable. I can feel it. But Mr. Dolan, you are here coming to court to sue based on breach of contract.
Correct.
Right? I cannot find a valid agreement from this text. Yes, it sounds wonderful, sounds wonderful. I would think she's trying to say yes, but in her defense, legally, she says, let's catch up again in a few days.
I think it's
So
just,
that's neither a yes nor a no. So knowing the way your daughter feels about you, maybe you were wishing so hard that after losing your wife of 35 years that you were suffering, and then maybe somehow you realize that the relationship that you have with your daughter is not what it should have been or you want it to be. You were trying so hard to try to make a step to make it work.
Yes.
That is clear too. And that is also palpable, but that is not a legal claim. Legally, I do not find that there was an agreement, because how was she really going to afford to go to Mexico, with a husband who was injured, who's going to physical therapy, she has 2 kids, and nobody's working?
I didn't know quite the extent of the difficulties.
My goodness. Yes, you did.
You
Yeah,
don't communicate.
Your Honor,
Miss Sidney, please. I hold family so dear. I worship the ground my father walks on. I cannot have you speak to your father in my courtroom that way. Whether you have reason, I just can't. The past is the past. You're a grown woman now. I just can't. Okay? So all I can do here is look at a legal claim, and there is no valid contract, Mr. Dolan. The defendant does not owe you $1,000. She did not promise to pay $1,000. I think it was wishful thinking on your side that maybe this was a gesture in your own way to make you guys start talking again and try to figure out what to do with your relationship. But legally, there is no valid contract. Okay? I'm so sorry that you are going through the hardest time in your life, that you have lost your life partner. I'm so sorry that you do not have a relationship with your youngest daughter. I feel for you. I feel for you, Ms. Maxwell, that you no longer have a relationship with your father and you have such absolute disdain for him. It hurts me. But that is not, those are just personal feelings, okay? So based on the evidence, I will deny your claim, Mr. Dolan, for $1,000, and I hope someday you guys have a way of coming back together, okay? Good luck to you both.
Judge Perez has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been denied.
I hope you know that this is our final straw with you and that we don't want anything else to do with you. Just stay out of me and my family's life.
I hope you don't mean that.
Coming up on Justice for All.
She did pay the rent for the rest of the time. However, I did not know that my lease also ended at the time.
You're watching Justice for All with Judge Cristina Perez. Allison Falter is suing Jessica, Georgia, in the amount of $1,300. Ms. Falter claims her former roommate caused confusion when she broke their lease and says she intended to stay, but the landlord re-rented the unit.
Okay, Ms. Falter, I understand that you and the defendant, Ms. Georgia, were roommates,
Yes.
and the lease was under her name.
Yes.
You lived there, pay rent
I did.
for almost a full year,
Yes.
but you got kicked out of the apartment early and you had to find a new place
I did.
to live. Okay, that's why you incurred $1,300.
Yes.
That's what you're suing for her today, right?
Yes.
All right, give me your side of the story, please.
So Jessica and I met through a mutual friend. I had actually just moved to Los Angeles, and I didn't have a job at the time, first moving here, and I also needed a place to live, so we decided to sign a lease together. Jessica then got this new boyfriend. Then Craig came into the picture and started spending a lot of time at the house. Jessica then informed me about 9 months into our lease that her and Craig were looking for another place to live, or that she wanted to move in with Craig, so she would be moving out early.
And then what happened after that?
So she gave me a 3 months notice. She did pay the rent for the rest of the time. However, I did not know that my lease also ended at the time. So what happened was the landlord actually came to our apartment on the second to last day of the 3-month notice that Jessica had given, and was super shocked to see that I was still there and that all of my stuff was still there because I was still living there. He was under the impression that nobody would be in the apartment because her 3-month notice ended the lease early.
Coming up.
We had a month-to-month lease after that.
I see.
So there wasn't any binding agreement for another year.
You're watching Justice for All with Judge Cristina Perez. We're back with the case of Allison Falter, who is suing Jessica, Georgia for moving expenses.
So you went to the landlord and you said, hey, I want to break my lease early.
I emailed him. I actually have
Okay,
evidence
go
of
ahead,
the
give
email
me.
that
So
I sent to
you
him.
can give it to Cinder, but just
Yeah,
tell me the story. So you emailed the landlord and said, I know I have a 1-year lease that I signed,
Yeah.
but I want to leave 3 months early.
Your Honor, the lease was going to be up in December,
Okay,
and then we had a month-to-month lease after that.
I see.
So there wasn't any binding agreement for another year. So when I gave Allison the notice that I would be gone, I was able to leave during that month.
Which month was that?
It was March, as
Okay.
you can see on the email.
So the lease ended in December. The landlord allowed you, or per the lease, to live month to month.
Yeah,
Okay, so then that means you stayed at January, February, and you left in March.
exactly.
Okay, and that is why you sent the landlord saying, thank you very much, I just want to let you, March will be the last month.
Exactly.
Okay, so you understood it was month to month after December?
Yes.
All right, so did you know that March was the last month?
Yes. What I didn't understand is that the lease would be ending for both of us. That is something that since Jessica
Of course
had.
it would be ending for both of you. I mean, that's, of course.
My name was on the lease, so
So Jessica and I, like she said, had a conversation together, and she let me know that she would explain the situation to the landlord. So the situation being, I had no plans to move out.
Okay, so the landlord came in March and did what?
He was shocked to see me, first of all, with everything that I had in the apartment. The
As
apartment
I would
was
too, yeah.
still completely intact.
Yep.
And he let me know that there was actually a couple slated to move in within the next 48 hours.
Judge Perez's verdict when Justice for All returns. You're watching Justice for All with Judge Cristina Perez.
Not her fault,
not my fault at all.
not her fault.
It is, though,
it's
because
not.
she did not communicate correctly
her fault.
with the landlord.
No, she told the landlord, and you knew that she told the landlord, March is the last month that we will be this wonderful living together. Just want to let you know, March will be the last month we're living in the apartment. And that's the email she sent. I know you saw that at the end of March when the landlord came, but she verbally told you, I told the landlord we're moving out in March, that March will be the last month. That should have immediately, a light bulb should have popped in your head and say, okay, I need to go talk to the landlord, because if she's moving out, that means I'm going to be the person responsible for the lease now. So I need to go talk to him and see if I need to re-sign the lease and put the lease in my name because the lease was in her name. So based on that, I will deny your claim for $1,300. Good luck, ladies.
All rise.
Judge Perez has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been denied.
Who doesn't know that you have to put a room in your name?
This is my first time living with a roommate, and this will be my last time.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.